Hello students, once again I welcome you all in this new video where we are going to discuss few more methods of asexual reproduction. And as we have started the new chapter, how do organisms reproduce, in the previous video where we have already discussed the first method of asexual reproduction, that is fission method, where we have seen that organisms, unicellular organisms mainly, they can produce new organisms whether with the help of binary fission method or with the help of multiple fission method. So binary fission is going to take place during the favorable condition and multiple fission is going to take place during the unfavorable condition. Now today we are going to discuss few more methods like budding, fragmentation, regeneration and spore formation. As we have already discussed also this in the previous video, that there is another method, one more method is there, that is vegetative propagation, but we will discuss about this vegetative propagation in the next video. Today we will mainly focus on these four methods of asexual reproduction: budding, fragmentation, regeneration and spore formation. So let's start today's video with the first topic, that is what? Budding. So we will discuss these processes and comparatively we will discuss also about all these methods, that what are their differences between amongst all these methods of asexual reproduction. So when we talk about the budding process, actually it is seen in unicellular as well as multicellular. Means both of the organisms, whether unicellular or multicellular, they are going to represent this method of asexual reproduction, that is known as budding. But when we talk about the fission process, you know that fission is mainly what? Applicable and represented by only unicellular organisms. So this is the first difference, that fission will take place only in the unicellular. But when we talk about the budding method, it will take place in unicellular as well as in multicellular. So again here, unicellular or multicellular both can perform this method, and this method is performed during the favorable condition, when the condition is favorable and food is present in the abundant amount. So this will take place during the favorable condition. What is going to happen during this process? Actually, when the condition will be favorable and food will be there in abundant amount, then a small outgrowth on the body will develop, and finally detach from the body and grows as a new individual. So what is happening in the budding process? Any of the organism which is going to represent this method of asexual reproduction, first of all, a small outgrowth will generate from its any of the body surface, and gradually this outgrowth is going to develop in the new organism. So two types of organisms are going to represent. The first one is what? Unicellular, where we have taken the example of yeast. You know, yeast is what? A unicellular fungus. So this is what? Cytoplasm. This is vacuole, and this red color is what? Nucleus. So when the food will be available to this unicellular yeast, a small outgrowth will develop, that is known as what? Bud. So this outgrowth is what? The extension of cytoplasm. Means cytoplasmic extension will grow due to the accumulation of food, means when the food will be present there in abundance. So they will get it and the cytoplasm will extend outside. Gradually this will grow in the bud, in the form of bud, and the nucleus will divide in such a way that a portion of nucleus, a part of nucleus will be present in the small new outgrowth, and the other part of the nucleus will present in the main body. Finally, this developing bud, this is what developing bud. When the bud will become mature, it will detach from the parent body, and now this is what new yeast cell. So from one single cell, another cell is going to produce. So this is what a method of asexual reproduction, where new cell will be produced. Since it is a unicellular organism, so new cell is going to produce from the parent cell or the parent body. So this is a mode of budding in the unicellular organism, that is what yeast. When we talk about the multicellular, here in your NCERT book it is given, this is what Hydra. Actually Hydra is what coming from the phylum Cnidaria, and it is a polyp that is having tentacles. These cytoplasmic extensions are known as what? Tentacles. So these tentacles are used for catching its prey, so they help in the feeding purpose while vibrating in the water body, so they are present in the water, and this is what the substrate where they are going to fix their body. So when the food will be available to this Hydra, again you are observing here a mass of cell in the body. Since it is a multicellular, so a mass of cell in their body, they will multiply rapidly. Since this rapid multiplication, a small outgrowth will develop, and this outgrowth will be considered as what? Bud. Gradually, due to the multiplication of that mass of cell, this bud will develop into the new organism. This is what developing new organism. And finally, when this will become mature and heavy, so it will detach from the parent body, forming the new Hydra. So this is what the new Hydra, this is what the parent Hydra. So this is a method of budding, mode of asexual reproduction, represented by Hydra, and this is what represented by yeast. So what you have to remember in the budding method, first of all, it is represented by unicellular as well as multicellular. Both type of organisms are going to represent this, and this process can be done only in the favorable condition, and during this process a small outgrowth on the body surface is going to develop, and finally this outgrowth is going to be formed in the new individual. So this is again a part of asexual reproduction. Now we will discuss about the fragmentation and regeneration modes of reproduction in asexual reproduction. So now we will discuss about two more methods of asexual reproduction, that are fragmentation as well as regeneration. So when we talk about the fragmentation and regeneration, both of these methods can be represented only by multicellular organisms. So these processes are represented by what? Only multicellular organisms. So when we talk about the fragmentation, from the name itself you are having an idea. Fragment means breaking down. So during this process it is seen in multicellular filamentous algae, and here we are having an example of Spirogyra, that is filamentous algae. So you can see when they become mature, since they are present in the water body, so due to the current of water, their body is going to be fragmented, broken down into multiple pieces, and each of these pieces are capable to again retain its maturity and grow into a new individual. So this type of reproduction, where new individuals are going to form by the breaking down of their body part, so such type of representation or the method is known as what? Fragmentation, and it is represented by multicellular filamentous algae. One example is given in your book, that is what? Spirogyra. When we talk about the regeneration, perhaps from the name itself you are getting an idea that re means again and generate means to produce. So again here one example is given of planaria. So this multicellular organism is having an ability to regain its lost body parts. So when we are going to cut this planaria into multiple pieces, so this head region is capable to again regrow the lost body parts, that is tail and the trunk region, and this trunk region is also capable to grow its head and tail, and this tail region will again also capable to grow the head and the trunk region. So this is what the ability to regrow the lost body parts. But this is not a method of reproduction in complex organisms. Means when we talk about ourselves, humans also, we also have the ability to regenerate our lost body parts. When we talk about our skin, whenever it is going to damage, it is again going to rebuild. And in our liver cells also, liver is also having the ability to regenerate. If that is going to damage, it is going to again regrow and maintains the damage. And when we talk about the lizards, you have seen perhaps that they are having the ability to regrow its tail. So there is also we can see the regeneration ability. Actually, regeneration is an ability of multicellular organisms to grow their lost body parts. But since when we talk about these planarians or starfish, even hydra, they are having so much ability to regrow their lost body part that this is known as what? True regeneration. So true regeneration and fragmentation, you can see that quite similarities are there, that their body is going to be broken down into multiple pieces. But there is a slight difference. In fragmentation, no need of any specialized cells. Means here when we talk about the multicellular filamentous algae, there is no need, there is no complexity. They are very simple. So there is no need of any specialized cells. Each and every part of the body that is going to break down, that is going to fragmentize, they are having the ability to regrow their again lost body parts. But when we talk about the regeneration, there is a condition that they must have a specific cells that are known as what? Stem cells. So in each and every part of the body where stem cells are present in some complex multicellular organisms, they are having the ability, due to the presence of these specific cells, stem cells, they are having the ability to regrow their lost body parts. So this is a slight difference between fragmentation and regeneration. In both of these processes, the individual is going to break down into multiple pieces, but here no need of any specialized cells. Each and every cell or the part of the body is going to develop into the new organism. And here when we talk about only in planarians, when we talk about the planarians or hydra or starfish, they are having a tremendous ability to regenerate their lost body parts due to the presence of stem cells in the various body parts. So they are having what? They are representing true regeneration. So these two methods are also a part of asexual reproduction. Now we are going to discuss the last one, spore formation, for today's topic. So now we will discuss about the last method of asexual reproduction for today's topic, that is spore formation. And this method is also represented by multicellular organisms, especially when we talk about all the fungal species. So the fungus which are saprotrophs. You know about the specific saprotroph fungus species that is known as what? Bread mold, or that is also known as what? Rhizopus. So Rhizopus is what? A fungus species, and all the members of fungus species, they are having a tendency to form spores. These are the reproductive structures. So when they are going to adopt some favorable condition, like now the Rhizopus is getting the favorable condition, it is a bread piece. Suppose it is a bread piece and the spore falls down here. So when these spores are going to form down and they will get the suitable condition, so they are going to germinate some thread-like structures that are known as what? Hyphae. So the thread-like structures in the fungal species, that is known as hyphae, and the circular structure is known as what? Fruiting body. Fruiting body. So these fruiting bodies are having some reproductive structures. So this fruiting body in the Rhizopus is known as what? Sporangia. And you can see multiple dotted structures are here that are known as what? Spores. So when the fungal species is getting the favorable condition food, they will flourish their colony, they will make their fruiting body. Inside the fruiting body, multiple spores will be produced, and when these fruiting bodies are going to burst, the spores are going to disperse with the help of air, because they are very minute structures, very light weighted. And when these spores are again going to fall into some moist surface, they are going to germinate again, and they will germinate like thread-like structure, which is known as hyphae. And these root-like structures that are going to absorb and anchor the fungus body, that is known as what? Rhizoid. So the root-like structure that is going to anchor the fungus body, that is known as rhizoid. And these hyphae which are going to collect, this is what? One colony. So the colony members that are going to attach with the hyphae, that is known as what? Stolon. So already we have discussed about all of these methods of asexual reproduction. When we talk about the fission, this is represented only by unicellular organisms, and in fission we have seen binary fission as well as multiple fission. Binary fission is conducted during the favorable condition, while multiple fission will be represented during the unfavorable condition. When we talk about the budding, it is a method where an outgrowth is going to develop first and on the individual's body, and then that outgrowth is going to develop into a further new individual. This process can be represented by unicellular as well as multicellular organism. When we talk about fragmentation and regeneration, again I am telling you, don't be confused about fragmentation and regeneration. Actually, regeneration is not a method of reproduction, and in spite it is an ability to regrow the lost body parts. But in a few simple organisms like planaria, hydra and starfish, since they are having tremendous ability of regeneration, that any of their body part that is going to damage, it can create a new individual. Or if I will give you an example, suppose a lizard is going to remove its tail, so you know the rest body part of the lizard will regrow the tail, but tail itself cannot grow the whole lizard body. So it means what? Regeneration is only an ability to regrow the lost body parts, and this regeneration is done by the specific cells that are known as stem cells. But what happens in the planaria and starfish, that they are having the tremendous ability of regeneration, that is known as what? True regeneration. That's why it is considered as a method of reproduction in these simple organisms like planaria. And when we talk about the spore formation, it is what represented by all the fungal species when they are going to absorb nourishment from the suitable substrate. When we are talking about the rhizopus, since we know that they are going to grow on the bread, that's why they are known as bread mold. So when they are going to absorb the nourishment, they are going to develop the fruiting body, and these fruiting bodies are having reproductive structures which are known as what? Spores. When these sporangia is going to burst, the spores will allow to move with the help of air, and when again these spores will reach on the suitable condition, suitable substrate, they are going to again develop some thread-like structures known as hyphae, and from there they will develop the new organisms. So that's all from the asexual reproduction apart from the vegetative reproduction. So in the next video we will discuss about the vegetative reproduction. So till then, take care of yourself, be safe and keep studying.